What's up, Blizzard Nation? Welcome back to Strictly Blizzness, episode 109.
Welcome back.
Huge thank you. Gonna get it. Big shout out to our friends at Creative Edge and Edge VR, who correct us when we're wrong, and
Werner Electric
for making Strictly Blizzness possible.
When do we start over? When is that season? Is it a annual?
I mean, technically now, never with Creative Edge and Edge VR because we're here, but we'll see what Werner's doing.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Yep.
So it's a stay tuned.
Yes.
Stay tuned.
Correct.
Stay tuned.
You could be the lucky partner to
You could
present Strictly Blizzness. Mm-hmm. There are many amenities.
Oh, accolades galore.
Which we don't know or haven't come up with yet.
But
besides
they're
these
there.
shout outs. So,
But they're there.
But there's value. Mm-hmm. You get the best part of the Blizzard organization.
There you have it. Saying your name over and over every
Yes.
week.
Yep. Sometimes even edited in.
Sometimes. Not very often, though.
Yeah. Well, there's an IFL champion.
There is.
Yes.
And it is not the Sioux Falls Storm.
Nope.
Who I was rooting for. I was rooting for.
So congratulations to the Bay Area Panthers.
Bay Area Panthers, Roy Choi, hats off to you. Very good game. If you had a chance to watch it, it really, it started off where Riggs was down right away, came back. It was always close, and then fourth quarter, they just could not get their feet. The refs tried to help them. Bay Area, there were hardly any penalties in the first half.
Yeah.
And then that last quarter, there were quite a few, and it just didn't give Sioux Falls the oomph that they needed.
Right.
So, and I'll tell you this. So I'll kind of break down the weekend because that's really all we have to talk about, right?
True.
But the game itself, when you have behind you a bunch of coaches, so I was in the suite for a while, and the coaches were behind me, including Kevin Guy.
Sure.
Who knows Dixie like the back of his hand, knows the formations. So he's calling out what they're going to run before they're even like ready to snap the ball. And I'm just thinking, okay. And then I got Tom Fasanelli sitting in front of me. So he's talking about anything that
Head
the refs
ref for the league.
Yeah, that the refs might be missing or seeing or whatever. And so it was very interesting to watch it from that perspective because I'm just there for the entertainment value and I'm getting play-by-play in my, behind me. Shout out to Curtis Riggs. That was his last game in the IFL, along with his quarterback. I'd love to say that they went out on a high note. I mean, that was what I really wanted for him.
Yep.
And that is what the owners, Amber and her sister and their husbands are the owners of Amber Gary of Sioux Falls. And, they're just stellar people. And I like to see it when a team can get to the championship without cheating, without doing stuff under the table. And that is what Sioux Falls did. Unfortunately, they didn't come out on top, and it wasn't in the cards for them. I will say this about the players, just having to see them in the hotels, and this is a warning for our players, our Green Bay Blizzard players. Those two teams were classy. They were definitely men, not boys, not, they were there for the football. They were there for the game. They weren't there for the player of the game. They weren't a bunch of players. They were definitely stand-up individuals, and that's great. The hotel that we stayed at is actually the home of the Raiders.
Yep.
So
was it a mess because of training camp?
So
yeah,
funny story.
I remember that last year. So
well, and I totally forgot it. So I get in the lobby and there's this huge thing. It's a water fountain in behind where you check in, and it says IFL Championship, whatever. And I had to come back into the elevator for a reason. And there's this clearly a football player, tall guy. And I look up at him like, "Oh, what team are you here from?" Because I'm thinking he's got to be for the Panthers, right?
Yeah.
Oh, the Raiders, ma'am. And I'm like, "Oh, that's good." So I'm like,
did you run into Devontae?
No. And had I, then I would have been like, "Oh yeah, NFL is here." And that's just one of those things. The IFL and the NFL are getting closer and closer with the training camp starting for one, and
Yep.
then ours is the championship. So I got to meet one of the Oakland Raiders, or who are no longer Oakland. Oh, that's a flashback. The Las Vegas Raiders in the elevator. I will say this, the difference between, and this is another warning for all IFL players because it's a problem in our league. So with him, he was obviously on a cheat day because I could smell the grease food that he had in his container, as well as the sweat. So NFL player, sweat, cheat food. IFL player, pot. You could tell that players were around because of the pot smell.
Got it.
And you guys, we got to clean that up. If you're a true athlete, you're not smoking pot. I'm sorry, but you aren't. It makes it just bring it down to a different level when that's how you smell. But you want to do it, but don't let anybody else smell it because it's not that pleasant. So anyway, that's what I have for the hotel. So let's talk about the weekend.
Yeah.
The weekend itself, coming in on Thursday. The girls and I got to see 2 Cirque du Soleil shows, which were fabulous. We went to see O, and it's a water show, so it's done in water. When we got done, they made me question what I was doing 25 years ago when I saw it because they were like, Mom, what was that? What was the story? And I went,
We didn't see that one. We saw Beatles, right?
Yeah, we saw Beatles.
Yep.
I'm like, well, maybe I was drunk then. I'm not really sure. I thought it was fabulous, and I thought it was fabulous this time as well. And then Saturday night after the game, we went to see Mystère, which was also
Awesome.
stellar. But anyway, Thursday night came in, did that. Friday we had our league meetings, and then we had the XFL, IFL combine, which at 110, we had to cut it short because we ran out of water. I mean, guys were getting dehydrated. It just was not good. A lot of stellar athletes. We had 216 athletes that showed up.
That's awesome.
So that was fabulous.
I saw Todd do the halftime interview for the league championship, and he talked about that. So, yeah.
I would have liked to, and I wasn't there, but I did hear from quite a few of the coaches, there needed to be more of an XFL presence because all those guys came there thinking they were going to see the XFL. At one point, a drone came down. XFL, that's not the same as saying that it's your combine.
Sure.
So the IFL didn't need to have a combine for the IFL. We know our talent. It was there for the XFL. And I just wish there had been more of a presence for these guys. Again, not knocking it because we had it. There was some great talent that was showcased and presented. Our coaches helped out with a lot of the timing and things like that. Corey Roberson was there. Corey Ross, Curtis Chin were the 3 that I talked to about it. But yeah, it went well.
Yeah, it said on the interview that there were scouts there.
There were. They were
the
just
talent
kind of
was nuts, and that what they've seen in a combine, and he had anticipated some players getting scooped up, but they just weren't like engaging with the players. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, they weren't. It wasn't. You didn't feel like you were being watched.
Sure.
And I get it. When you have recruiters out there and you have scouts out there, you don't know who they are. Yep. But I think it needed to be just a little bit more of a presence or a feel of that presence would have been good. I also think we could probably, to me, if we could guarantee that at least 1 from every team, if not 2 or 3 from every team, get called into their training camp, that to me would be more of a true partnership where we are guaranteeing that you go to camp. You got to prove yourself in camp. Yeah. You aren't a guarantee on the team, but at least getting them into an XFL camp, I think would be cool. But that's all. That's developmenting. That's a developmental process developing between the 2 leagues. So we'll see what comes of that. Our league meetings were good, sometimes spirited. That's my best way to put it. It's usually me doing the spiriting, but that's okay. We have some things we have to work on, but it's the strongest our league has ever been. I like going to those meetings and seeing everybody. It's good to catch up with everyone because we don't get to talk to one another during the season. It's tough. We're all busy. You can't just call somebody up and, hey, Ron Shirts, how you doing?
Yeah.
It's just not something that you can do. So after our league meetings, we went to that night. We were at the dinner, and you've been at those dinners.
Yep.
This one was really nice. It was right at the hotel,
cool.
upstairs in
So
there.
not at that sports bar attached to the arena?
No,
Okay.
no, it was upstairs at the
That's
hotel.
where it was last year, right? It was at
it was right at the arena, outside, a bar outside the arena. And it was cool and then very embarrassing for me because I had said, Todd, instead of announcing who all of the, league winners are, let's do it at the banquet because it kind of loses its steam when you're just walking up there and you knew. Yeah. So that's what we did. I can go through the list if you'd like.
Sure.
Okay.
Of awards?
Of awards, or do you already know?
Well, I knew.
Well, you knew. So I didn't know. I had no idea. So I'm sitting there while these are being announced, and I was just floored. I mean, I had hoped, like I had said on the last show, we were nominated, and that to me is prestigious enough to be in the top 3 amongst peers, right? Because these are the people that we go, they're the me and yous that are out there. Of course, it's nobody like you and I, but you get what I'm saying. Yep. They're out there. So the first award that we got was this one, Best Community Relations. And I was really proud of this one because from a community standpoint, we upped our game this year. Thank you to Knapp and Selena for getting out there, and the twins and everybody that helped us to get out in the community more. And obviously the players. I said to Corey when he said congrats on that one, I said, and you're the one that fights me on that every year. And he kind of laughed and he said, no, I think we did a much better job, this year. And we've tried to engage differently, you guys with the schools, other community organizations. Yeah. So I was very proud, and I would have been fine with that. I would have been just fine. I'll go in the order that I received them. I was going to do them a little bit differently, but then
when you sent the first one, I knew what was coming because the sheet that I got sent had them in. I assumed they were going in order because when you fired off photos, I'm like, oh, they went in order that I got it. Yeah, yep.
And poor Todd would start talking about an award, and everybody would be like, Todd, on the screen right next to you, it's something totally different. And he'd be like, oh, I guess we're talking about something else here. It was great to see. I got to meet the inductees into the Hall of Fame and got to talk to 2 of them, and that was, might have even had a shot of tequila with them, but it was just really a cool event. And all 3 of them, I took quotes from their speeches. That's how good they were. They were fabulous speakers. But then we get to this next award, and Julie Pettit. Those of you that don't know who Julie Pettit is, she is the GM for the Iowa Barnstormers, and her dad, John Pettit, was partners in the Barnstormers when they were in the AFL. So John was very, very instrumental when coming to the IFL to set up some of our rule changes. Him and I wouldn't say go head to head, but there were times where we disagreed on points, and he'd say, well, Kathy, I understand what you're saying, but this is my point. And I'd say, well, I understand what you're saying, John, but you still didn't hear my point.
Yeah.
But he was instrumental in so many things and such a football guy. So a few years back after he passed during COVID, Ryan and I had the pleasure, the first time this award was given, it was given to his daughter. And the meaning behind the Pettit Award is somebody that is giving their all to the IFL, and it's someone that's not out in the spotlight. It's someone that behind the scenes is making a difference, not only for their team, but for the league. And she got up and she started telling that story again. And she was talking about the person that was going to receive it. And I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. This is because I had no idea who it was. And then she said one key word and Caitlin has a video of me, and I'm kind of like, oh boy, she's talking about me. And I had no clue, but I have to tell you how much of an honor, and I'm going to get choked up, how much of an honor it was, not only for her to be the one giving it, but what it represents and the fact that I share this award with you. because you got it.
True. Don't do that on set.
We can't have
No waterworks for me. We're good.
So to know that the people that are behind the scenes appreciate what we do, to me, this means more. This one means the most to me out of everything that we got, to me personally. So I thank Julie for a very heartfelt speech that she gave. And when she sat back down, I turned and said, I started telling her how much it meant to me. And she said, Kathy, you should probably turn around because you're getting another one. And I knew there was only one left. And I went, what? So that one was this one, which was the Green Bay Blizzard was voted Franchise of the Year, which, this one means a lot to me. Don't get me wrong, but this one is more for our Blizzard Nation. This one is for our fans. This one is for Ryan, for the staff, because the way that it was presented was a franchise that is always giving something to other people in the league. And we talk about it on here, but to have them recognize that, that's pretty cool. It wasn't about winning season. It wasn't about stellar athletic performance. It was about the performance behind the scenes and off the field. And that to me means quite a bit. So thank you to all of the IFL partners and everyone that voted for us. And I just can't say thank you enough. So that was the awards.
Yeah.
I got to talk to my man, Corey Ross. I told him I'd give him a shout out. So we were having this debate of the Coreys.
Destiny watched this, right?
Well, Destiny. Well, I got to have dinner with Destiny and her crew.
Yeah.
Which she's just a stellar.
Yep.
That Quad Cities organization is just those people. They know how to put things on behind the scenes, and that's a good rivalry for us on the field, but off the field.
Yeah.
We talked to them.
Did I derail a Corey Ross story there?
No,
too?
no.
Oh, right. I didn't know if you were going before I said Destiny too.
No, because that's where he's from. So I always, whenever I see him, he's like, "Oh, there's my Kathy." And I'm like, "Oh, Corey," and Roberson is sitting there like, "What is going on with you two over there?" And I went, "This is a cool guy." And Corey's like, "He doesn't even have an E in his name," and. The other Corey said, "I don't need one." So there's that. But it was good to see and chat with them. And then I got to talk with Curtis Chin, which I have not done before.
Yeah.
Stellar individual. Yep. Coach of the year, definitely deserving. It was just a cool banquet. Kevin got his fan base, the fan base. So he got an actual big belt.
Oh, really?
That they were
that's
showing.
Cool.
That was the actual belt.
Never have to give up that belt, but
Yeah,
that's so.
He's gonna win it. Let's have him win it 3 years in a row, and then let's do it as percentage of your arena because he's gonna always have the most fans because he's got the biggest arena.
Yep.
But Tulsa. They were a big rival, so if Arizona wasn't playing, Tulsa got it. We got it once, right?
The fan base?
Yeah.
I don't know if we have the fan base one.
We did, because we played on a Friday and nobody else was playing.
Oh, the belt? Yeah,
Yeah.
we got it 3 or 4 times,
Yeah.
actually. So, yeah, if those other two weren't in the mix, Quad Cities got it once, I think. So, yeah. Yep.
No, I'm talking about, fan base.
Yeah, sorry, yes.
And then I told Kevin I want to see that belt on you in the casino tonight when you are out. But really, just executives of the year. It was shared with Andy and Taylor from our new team in Tulsa.
Yep.
Very deserving.
For sure.
For now, they own a hockey franchise, which is different than football, but they know how to put people in the seats.
Yep.
They have a great fan base already, and kudos to them because they came out of the gates running. And if history says it, then they should be in the championship next year.
After
because
a 1-1 season, right?
That's what happened with Naz. They
Yep.
had 1-1. Bay Area last year, 1-1. Tulsa 1-1
Yep.
this year. So maybe they're going to be in the championship next year with, well, it can't be with the Green Bay Blizzard. So they'll fight us to get to the championship. How's that? Anyway. As far as the rest of the weekend, it was hot.
Yeah.
It was really hot. Again, having the guys outside for the combine, I'm sure was good, but Corey said he knelt down to do some of the scoring and his legs were on fire. So I definitely think you could have fried an egg on a sidewalk out there. There's no question. So it was good seeing everybody. Got to talk to all the other owners. Talked with Gina out of Duke City quite a bit, and obviously Julie and Jeff from the Barnstormers, Doug from Quad Cities, Kathy Guy from Tucson. So just, it's like I said, it's good to get together with everybody and have discussions. Our next league meetings will be in January. Don't know where they'll be, if they'll be in Vegas or in another one of our partner cities. Nobody wants to come to Green Bay in the cold. That's just the way it is. So I can tell you that we're hoping to have a schedule out the first week of October. Our ball orders have to be in September 1.
Yep.
That's a whole nother story.
Working on it.
Or October 1, because that's usually when it's really due. But
it just forces a different timeline for us because we themed them. Now, I mean, there might be 4-ish theme balls this year.
Yeah.
So we'll figure it out. But
we'll figure it out.
It forces you to do the promo schedule, even though you may not be ready to do the promo schedule. So
yeah.
Yep.
And if you did you see the IFL ball at all?
It's all white, right? The
It was, but there were arrows in the corner.
Really? Yeah.
So the points,
Yeah.
So people are listening.
Who else presented at the league meeting? Can you share that? I mean, is that confidential or no?
No, so
Build Your Base did, I think.
Yeah,
Todd told me
and
ahead of time, right?
that's a great one. So Build Your Base is an organization that's been highlighted with 2 of our camps or just one? Was it both?
Both
camps?
of our camps and different camps and games throughout the league. Like there was one of the real cool ones I thought was the Beef Jerky Bowl. I forgot what they called it, but like the winning fan base got 1,000 beef sticks from their game. So I forget what teams that was between, but
yeah.
And
that's something that you'll see more from us. I got to talk to the presenters after about some of the things we can do in the community. But basically what it is, yes, it's the Beef Council, but it's beyond the Beef Council. They actually have Sanford science behind it as well around how to get athletes to embrace nutrition, and more importantly, getting nutrition into that elementary level. And getting athletes to understand, professional athletes talking to children who want to be athletes, how important nutrition is. And so they're building their base through nutrition. So they were fabulous. We had our betting partners come in.
Oh, sure. Simple Bet.
Yep. And they talked to us about the things we still have to work on in order to get that play-by-play betting that we're hoping to get to at some point. And then we had Bo from Baden was in there for the balls that we use at our games. And then Todd spoke quite a bit around state of the league, where we're at, teams coming in for 24, which we should have announcements within the next 2 to 3 weeks, just so that all of you know, if it's an expansion team, they have to have everything in by the end of July. Existing teams have to have everything in and a decision made by the end of August. So we're quickly approaching the end of August. So any of those announcements will happen in the next couple of weeks.
Awesome.
And no, I'm not going to tell you who they are.
I wasn't going to effort it.
Because I'd get in a lot of trouble. Anyway, that's on its way.
Cool.
What else do you want to...
That was this show, isn't it? I'm not saying let's hit him. I'm just saying like that was the championship weekend was this episode. Yep.
Yeah, I wish you had been there. It would have been cool for you to walk up and get that one and this one.
I mean, I'm not here if it's not here for you and your husband betting on me. So it was cool that you got to go do it. So
yeah, it was great to have my girls there. Got some great pictures of them experiencing it, and like I said, it was just a good night all around. It was a good night.
Awesome. Yeah, it was tough because I tell you everything that when I got that email, and then when Selena sent, just so you know, I'm like, please don't have copied her, and she didn't. So, yep.
Thank goodness, because everybody was like, Corey came in and said, I hear we're getting like a lot of awards, and I went, well, Corey, we were nominated for 5. I hope
Yeah.
we at least get 1. And he's like, no, like we like more than that, like 2. And I went, okay, where'd you hear it? And I'm thinking, who knows? Who
Yeah.
knows? And then I find out that you knew. So Todd hit me up after and he's like, did you seriously not know? And I said, I had no idea. And then he told me
Yeah.
what had happened and said, yeah. So Ryan called me out and said, dude, I don't think we're supposed to know this.
Yeah, I mean, that goes back to that one, right? Like, it's cool for me to get to talk to that guy, and I sat for probably the first time in 8 years at a home game when he came to the home opener this year and just spent halftime with Todd, and that's been a cool dynamic. Hopefully it resonates with him when I thank him, because him and Davis and Charlie, when you guys hired me and I had no clue what I was doing, would always answer the phone, right? And they ran other businesses, owned teams, and had their plate full. They didn't have to answer when I called. Even before, as strong as the owners are now, like those handful genuinely cared when I was trying to figure out indoor football, because I had no clue, right? You hired me because I could talk to people and how I treated people. I have no background in this. Anytime I present at a school and they're like, how did you get into this? I'm like, I sold them some audio. It usually is like
It had to
kids
do with
dropping out of
TVs.
school like that. I can get into football if I don't finish school. No, but like, it's just so I thank Todd probably every time I'm on the phone with them, just they didn't have to answer the phone, and they did. So yeah. And Sioux Falls was ridiculous at fundraising, and I remember $20,000 checks at every halftime my first couple years in the league with those guys. So yeah.
Todd really did a good job. He kind of had like the JT set up during a game. You'd go out there and there were all of this memorabilia that you could bid on, and that's how they did their fundraising.
Yeah, so I just remember, again, because rewind to last year, I was getting text because of the way that the league meetings had timed out. I was getting text saying, congratulations, Ryan, before Todd had even got to the awards. Yeah. And so when I got that email, I'm like, I don't want that for her. So I called him right away.
It would have ruined it. It would have ruined it. Because like I said, when Julie was up there talking, I'm like, yeah,
I'd hang out with this person.
Yeah, that's what this award is about. And I'm thinking, well, it could be this person, it could be that person. Well, it might even be that person. Then I'm like, oh, it's me. So
it's that person.
It's that person.
Yeah.
Oh, ooh.
Yeah.
But again, really cool that it was her presenting. So, yeah, it was a very memorable night for me. So cool. I will treasure that.
Awesome.
I will treasure it. Yeah. You were making me think of something, and it was Todd. So when he told the story of the first time we met.
When he was still an owner, right?
Yeah, he was an owner. And we were in Vegas, and he was eating lunch all by himself. And I'm like, I'm going to go over and sit by him. So I told Larry, I'll be back. So I sat down with him, and he said it when he said, the first time I met this person, that's when I knew it was us. He said, they said to me, you're not so bad. And I'm like, oh, man. And I said, I did say that, Todd, but I also said, you don't scare me. After he had won all those championships. So he remembered that. I don't know if that's good or bad. And he did say, I don't know if that was a compliment or not.
Right.
So anyway, that's what I know.
Very cool.
Anything else you want to know about the weekend?
I don't think so.
If any of you have any questions out there, by all means.
Yeah, fire away.
Fire away.
Dale and Mitch, thanks for commenting on this last episode. So
absolutely.
And
our winner for the...
I don't know. I didn't hear from Nap yet.
Okay.
So it was down to two people.
I got some good swag.
Sweet.
I have actual folders. I have one of the coins, some coasters, a football.
That's awesome.
A hat, some T-shirts. So
very cool.
Yeah.
So make sure you follow that stuff when we do it on social media. So big shout out to Allison and Todd for helping us give a prize package out to the winners. So,
I got to the dinner and Allison's like, this bag is for you. I can't forget to give it to you. And
I put a calendar reminder myself to text her on the championship night. I'm like, she's got this. She already texted me and said, I gave the stuff to Kathy. So yeah.
She's like, do you want it now before you go to your table? And I'm like, no, I will grab it on the way out. Don't worry. Yeah. And shout out to Allison and Todd and really his whole crew, because this is not, if you are an event planner, right?
Yep.
If you go to events, you have no clue, unless you've planned an event, how much goes into it. Todd was out there all week. He celebrated his anniversary out there
I saw that,
with his kids.
Yep.
So that's good that they had some family time. But most of the time he was working, and then Wendy was, running around trying to help him, but keep the kids happy because I believe they're all still under age of 21. So
Yep.
That's one of those things where those are the unsung heroes. Allison does a lot of coordinating. Todd's good at some details, but you can tell she keeps him in check. And then just everybody there.
Yep.
I mean, you know them all better than I do as far as
Eric,
what they bring.
Eric, Kaylee, and Allison are the three.
Yeah.
I'll call it league people.
Yeah, and Eric was around talking to everybody
Yep.
and making sure there was a Sue Storm photographer there that was taking pictures.
Awesome.
And he commented on our mascot, how great it was to have our mascot
Yep.
in their building. And then I got to see, I had never seen the popcorn war in Quad Cities. That was fabulous,
Yep.
of Bruiser and their mascot going at it with a bag of popcorn. Oh my gosh. In the stands, so there was popcorn everywhere. If you were near them, you got pummeled with popcorn. So it was
True.
fabulous. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else you got?
That's what I got.
I hope I'm not missing anybody that I said I'd give a shout out to.
That's
Well, I
on
really
you
didn't-
if that was all.
I really
coming.
didn't say I'd give anybody a shout out, but I did say I'm going to talk about this on the show. And Corey's one that watches quite a bit, Corey Ross. So
That's cool.
yeah. So we were calling them, if they would coach together, the CR squared. I came up with that.
Nice.
Anyway.
No, that's what I had. It was good info, and it sounds like it was awesome. So
Yeah, it was a great weekend. If you have any questions on our rules or rules that you think need to change, by all means, let us know. This year we changed some of the rules to kind of speed up the game so that we could get people out in 2.5 to 2 hours and 45 minutes, right?
Sure.
That was the goal, was to speed up the game, because if you got kiddos coming and you start at 7, they're not awake at 9:30, 10 o'clock to be able to go on fifth quarter. So a lot of those kids, those young kids that we want to have exposed to the players, can't come down on the field unless you're doing a Sunday afternoon game or a matinee on a Saturday. So we're trying to shift some things. We'll be talking about rules in January, or solidifying them, I should say. We'll start talking about them now and talking about what needs to change. So if you got any suggestions, let us know, because we definitely would. I can't say that we'll change them in your favor, but we can absolutely talk about them, and I can talk about them on here as to why we have that in place if you're questioning it.
yeah,
So that's what I know.
awesome.
So congrats, Bay Area.
Yeah, congrats.
You get to tout about that, as Dixie said in his Facebook post. If you aren't going to want to hear it, my bragging starts for a year come Monday.
Good for him.
So, and hats off to Dixie. That's not easy to share. Those were 2 head coaches coming in, and one was on offense and one was on defense. So that was, I'm sure, tough for them at times.
Yeah.
But they did a great job.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I got.
I should say him and her so that it doesn't sound like all I know
Yeah.
is Dixie. But shout out to you too.
Yes. Well, should we hit him with it?
Let's hit him with it.
Yeah.
Do we know when we're coming back?
Probably go bi-weekly until there's
More content.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll answer any questions off of this one on the next episode, so we won't see you next week, but we'll see you the week after that.
You bet. Well, 2 weeks from now, until then, let's hit him
and I
with
might be
it.
on location somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe not even on set.
Yeah,
So.
might not even be on set. I might be calling in from Georgia.
Perfect.
Or the cottage.
you
I'm
got a
not really
college
sure where
kid
I'm going to
deal
be.
with. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah. We'll see you in 2 weeks, Blizzard Nation.
2 weeks.
Let's hit him with it.
Go Blizz.
Don't forget to like, follow,
Subscribe,
share.
and ring that notification bell to get all of our content in your inbox.